Morning, guys. How y'all doing? I'm sitting out here this morning, kind of been doing my chores. Dust just brought Carly and Cody Bear over, and I was just sitting out here. I had a couple of little stumps I dug up that are rotten. I wanted to burn them, but they smoking. But I could have thrown them away, but it's kind of cold today. I thought I'd just sit here and let them burn. But about got my nose to running. Anyway, I was thinking about something. Y'all remember, some of you will, there was a president used to have a president had these fireside chats. I want to say it was Jimmy Carter, President Carter. I can't remember. So we're having a fireside chat. What brought this up? What I want to tell you. My boys, and I love them. I love them. But they've been telling some stories that needs to be straightened out. Yeah. Something about when I was a policeman. You know, I worked for 3 different departments of law enforcement in my life. 2 of them were full-time sheriff's departments. And I guess Liberty County, the time I worked with them quite a few years there, was probably the most rewarding, but also the most challenging. And we'll talk about that one day. But this particular story was when I was doing some part-time work for Plum Grove. Plum Grove would have a police officer now and then, and when they was first incorporated, 1969 and 1970, I was elected their first city marshal. And so kind of started my law enforcement career, you might say. And but I've done it a couple of different times for them off and on when they didn't have a police officer. They would call and say, would you help us out? You know, and I would go up and take care of it for them. But this particular story was when I was doing some part-time work for them. It was a weeknight. School the next day. I was working for the school. And this lady had got too much to drink. I guess you might say it that way. Had too much to drink. And someone had called, so there's this lady parked there by City Hall in the street, in the road. So I said, I'll go up and check it out. So I drove up, and my boys wanted to go. Lester and Daniel both wanted to go. And they're big boys. They're both athletes, strong. Yeah, strong. And so we go. I said, you boys sit in the back seat. Went in Jesus' car. So y'all sit in the back seat, you know, see what's going on. So I saw right off that she had too much to drink. So I offered, I said, look, in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, I do not want to have to drive her all the way to Liberty and put her in jail for this. You know, she's not hurting nobody right now. It's a weeknight. I don't want to do it. I'm going to do her a favor. So I said, ma'am, if you would like to come over to City Hall, we'll call someone to come pick you up. But you can't drive, and you're just not going to be able to drive yourself. So that's fine. So she comes over on City Hall on her own. And the boys, you know, they're not bothering anything. Daniel goes and gets him a Coke, I think. He's over by the counter drinking a Coke, and Lester, he just kind of propped up on the porch or the front door. And she sits down, and the phone is a wall-mounted phone, so I said, okay, give me some numbers, I'll call. So she gives me a number, and I call it. No answer. It rang and rang and rang, and that upset her that no one would answer that phone. So she must have expected someone to have been there. So she comes up with another number. I call. It was an unworking number. And you can see, each time I would try to call someone for her, and that was before cell phones, no cell phones back then, she'd get a little bit more frustrated. Now, she was a pretty good sized girl. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't mind thick girls. But she was wearing this halter top, and this halter top was having really a problem keeping everything in. And that smoke kind of get me. That's why I'm turning red face. And anyway, that fire feels good though, I'll tell you that. But so I tried several numbers. He went back to the one that kept ringing, and she's really getting upset with these calls are not going through. So I could see she was getting agitated, and so I went ahead and just called the sheriff's department. I said, you know, I don't want to go to Liberty, but I can't just let her go back out to that car. You know, she gets somebody killed. And I already taken the keys. So I'm talking to the lady at the sheriff's department. I said, you have an officer out in this area, you know. And she, yeah. Actually, there's a friend of mine that, if you go back several years, I'd actually got him into law enforcement. And I said, well, have him come by City Hall, and if he's in this area. And but that time, I don't know if she realized I was talking to the sheriff's department, because I wasn't talking loud, but she just kind of got up and looking around, and she said, well, I'm out of here. So she goes to the door, and Lester says, I don't think you can leave. Well, that's when it started. Let me tell y'all, you got to hear this up close. Now listen, I don't care what y'all hear the boys say. I am a witness. Well, most of it I've witnessed. This girl, y'all be quiet, I'm talking. I'm talking. Anyway, so she's got some good moves. I'm serious. They're leaving. They're leaving. They're gathering up. They're calling all their friends together. Don't come back over here. Let's just maybe have to wait till they kind of move on. Anyway, like lightning, this girl grabs Lester. Now, he didn't say nothing except, I don't think he's supposed to leave. She grabs him, and he's a big boy, and she like twirls him like a baton. And then body slams him onto the floor. Yeah. And then she goes down on him. And that's why it maybe reminded me of being a wrestler, because she puts one arm up under his legs and pulls his legs up. His legs just stick up in the air like this. And his shoulders are on the floor, like she's waiting on the count. And there's nobody to count. And then she got his hands pressed. Well, at that particular time, that halter top give up. Give up. And these things come out. And she's got him down, and she's whipping him. His face, going back and forth. She got his hands, he can't go nowhere, in his face. She's doing this, and his face is going this. I said, Dan, help your brother. Because I'm on the phone. Dan rushes over, try to hit Lester, get up from under him. She has Lester. He ain't going nowhere. This upper torso, the upper torso has him pinned. He can't go sideways. He's pinned. And she just reaches around and grabs Dan. He's a big boy. And just slides him underneath too. So now both of them are underneath. And now they're both getting this upper torso slapping. And Larry comes in the door at that time. My friend Larry, the sheriff's department, and another officer with him. So that's why I say I have witnesses. And so they take her to Liberty. And Larry did call me later that night. He says she got down in the back seat, the back floorboard, kicked in the doors, tried to kick the windows out in that patrol car. And she wedged herself between the seats. So when they got there to Liberty, it took several of them to get her out because she had wedged herself. They had to take the back seat out of the car. And all that time at Halter Top, it just give up. It couldn't take care of business. And my boys, I felt sorry for them because here the big boys, their faces are been slapped. I mean, she had slapped, not with her hands, and their faces were red. And I couldn't tell, was it from just being slapped back and forth like that, or was it embarrassment? That's the truth. Now, they won't tell it like that. They ain't gonna tell it the truth. They will not tell you the truth. I've got a witness. I love you guys. You know, seriously, in closing this video up, I kind of felt bad for the girl. I did, because she wasn't like under arrest or nothing. You know, she just voluntarily come over to see if we could call someone to come pick her up. And if someone had answered the phones, you know, she'd have been, they'd have come got her and took her home with them, and that'd have been fine. She kind of brought it all on herself, and I don't know if that was just the alcohol or maybe why, I don't know, you know, but kind of felt bad for her. And kind of felt bad for my boys. You know, I hate to see them like that. Especially in front of my friends. I don't know. I'd like to get Larry one day to give a comment on this, maybe, you know. Larry is and you know he's going to be honest with you, he's a preacher. Larry's also a preacher. And tell you what he saw when he come in there. I'm still on the phone. And boys are in self-defense mode. In fact, I don't know what mode they were in. They were just under the mode. They were doing nothing but just hanging on, I think, trying to get a breath now and then. Anyway, I tried to help her. I truly did. And just say, come over here, we'll try to call you someone, you know. If you come over here, we can call someone. And she did. She come right over. It's right there. And, but decided nobody's going to answer. She's just going to leave. And Lester didn't try to grab her or block her path. And he said, I don't think you're supposed to leave. And it was all on. It was on. Heidi, it was on. Heidi goes to sleep on every story I tell. Anyway, I will get this out to you guys. You know, I wasn't ever going to tell this story, but until this is self-defense. Because I know they're telling stories. I know they're trying to build themselves up about how they handle the situation. Well, they handled it. They handled it. It was a life learning experience for them. Catch you guys later.